Hi guys, I'm Josh and welcome to my channel Video Epo. In this video, I'm going to take an ordinary lighter and then convert it into a miniature cooking gas stove. It's miniature, but yet it's functional. Let's get started. Before going into the video, let me tell you something. If you are not old enough to handle fire, do not attempt this project. And the second thing is, this miniature cooking gas stove doesn't have any practical application other than miniature cooking itself. In fact, the idea of making something like this came from watching miniature cooking videos. My kids were watching miniature cooking videos and I noticed that a lot of people were using tea light candles to light up the flame. And I thought, why not use this kind of a lighter and make a gas stove out of it? Now, from that point onwards to this particular product here is the entire thought process, and I'm summarizing everything in this video. I could go ahead and simply put a tutorial on how to make this, but if you understand the process, you could be more creative, you could come up with alternative ideas and make something on your own. So let's get started. So the first objective would be to separate the flame of the lighter as far as possible from the body of the lighter. This is a common inexpensive lighter. The flame on these lighters can be kept on only for a few seconds. That is simply because, except for the top part where the flame burns, the whole body is made out of plastic. Prolonged heat can melt away the plastic and the lighter can be damaged. As I said, we need to separate the fire and move it as far as possible from the body of the lighter, so that the heat from the flame doesn't reach the body of the lighter. Now, when buying a lighter, do check if the lighter has a refill option. This model has the refill option and this one doesn't. It makes sense to use lighter with refill option in this project. It will save a lot of trouble later. I am opening one of these lighters. We can pry the metal casing and everything comes apart. Once you open this, it is very important that you don't lose this clip in particular. We need to fit this clip back into its place. When we press the lighter, this clip is pressed downwards. It is set in such a way that the nozzle of the lighter is pushed upwards when this lighter switch is pressed. This action creates a tiny gap within the nozzle mechanism and the pressurized butane gas escapes through the nozzle. At the same very instant, the piezo unit creates a spark, lighting the flame. We don't need the piezo unit, so we can remove it. We can place the clip back again in its place. Now when we press this clip, gas is released through the nozzle. Since the piezo unit is removed, we need to ignite it using another lighter. Again, we cannot let this burn too long, the plastic will melt. This is a copper pipe used in refrigeration appliances as capillary tube. The outer diameter is 3 mm and the inner diameter is 1 mm. This tube fits snugly on the nozzle of the lighter. So, if we press with one end of the tube to the nozzle of the lighter and then press the clip, the gas travels through the hollow tube to the other end of the copper tube. We can use another lighter to ignite the flame on the other end. So with this, we have cleared the first objective by separating the flame from the body of the lighter. There is a tiny lever on the lighter which can be used to increase or decrease the size of the flame. We cannot keep the clip pressed with our fingers like this all the time. So I'm going to make a tiny jig to tackle this next step. You might point out that these kind of lighters are already there. I mean, this has got the body in plastic, but it's got a long metal spout. The fire is going to be here and this should work fine, right? But this will not work, and I've explained all of those things ahead in the video. Please watch the video without skipping. There are many creative ways to make a jig that can press this clip. Here is a simple one I made. I took a set of nut and bolt. The nut can be secured to the edge of a board using super glue. I am sticking it to the edge of the board to have clearance to be able to rotate the bolt later. When this bolt is tightened, it protrudes from the other end of the nut. So I loosened the bolt and aligned the clip in such a way that it is placed at the center of the nut. The lighter can now be glued onto the board. Here you can see up close that when we tighten the bolt, the clip is pressed and the gas is released through the nozzle. Likewise, loosening the bolt releases the clip, cutting the gas supply. For the next step, I need to make a burner. I found an old pipe and I cut 1-inch piece from it. Using a drill bit that is about the diameter of the copper tube, a hole was drilled on the side of the pipe. Now we can easily insert the copper pipe into this hole. We can bend this long copper pipe and bring it to the nozzle of the lighter. So with this, we have our first test setup. Let us open the gas valve and light up our stove. At the first glance, everything seemed to be fine, but suddenly there was fire everywhere. To tackle this, I bent the end of the copper tube where the flame would be a little upwards and the problem was solved. I need to make a stand to place a container on the flame. I'm going to use this fan guard from an old CPU cabinet. Using a metal cutter, we can cut away the unwanted parts, but using an angle grinder surely does speed up the process. I have now made the fan guard into an improvised stand. After placing the stand, the burner was set on flame, but placing a container smothers the fire. The reason being inadequate supply of air. This was sorted out by simply increasing the distance between the burner and the container by extending the legs of the stand, and now it does look like a mini stove. Now let us understand why long neck lighters cannot be used in this project. Let me open this up and show it to you. Inside this lighter, the gas is stored in a separate cartridge. The gas is transferred to the nozzle using thin plastic pipes. The wires from the piezo unit are extended all the way up to the nozzle, and the wires have a plastic insulation. Even inside the metal tube, we can see plastic holders sort of support to hold everything in place. So even with a lighter like this, prolonged continuous use can melt the plastic away and the lighter will be damaged. But we do have some good news with this model of the lighter. The gas canister inside is much more compact. It has a refill option, and the burner nozzle is connected to the lighter nozzle using a plastic pipe and a silicone tube, which can be very useful. There is a difference between an ordinary lighter and a jet lighter. In an ordinary lighter, the fuel it travels through the nozzle, and the fuel it burns directly from over there. So there are lots of unburnt particles in the fuel, in the butane gas, and therefore the flame is yellow in color. Whereas in a jet lighter, what happens is that there is some kind of a teeny weeny mechanism inside that case here, which forces the gas to be released at a little bit more pressure, and there are holes in the burner, so the air goes into the holes and the oxygen mixes with the fuel, and then it burns, and because of that the burn is much cleaner and the flame is blue in color and it's much hotter. I wanted to try this out. It did not work for me because I destroyed 5-6 lighters, and all I was trying to do is take that nozzle out and try to fit it with a really small 1mm, 2mm tube and try it out. It just did not work for me. I don't know why. So that road was a dead end for me, so I let that go. I wanted to work with whatever knowledge I've gained by dismantling so many lighters and try and make something out of it. In the stove that I am about to make, the tip of the copper tube is going to get hot. The heat has to be dissipated somehow. After much thinking, I decided to make the entire body of the stove using metal sheets. I had this metal sheet left over from my previous projects, and I cut 3 pieces of 4 cm by 8 cm and 2 pieces of 4 cm by 4 cm. My initial plan was to weld these, but super glue seems to be doing a good job of holding everything together firmly. This is the front side of the stove. The height is 4 cm, the width is 8 cm. A slot is cut to accommodate the high-low lever of the lighter for easy access. On the right hand side, there is a bolt which will act as the on-off knob. The left side has a 3mm hole for easy access to refill the gas. While refilling, it is best to get the stove upright and let the fuel flow towards the bottom. The top of the burner is a pop rivet on which a tiny nozzle from the lighter is attached. Also, I used the legs of the rivet to bend it into an L shape. Then I made holes on the top plate and simply press fit everything in place. Let me flip this stove upside down and show you the internal arrangement. After finalizing the position of the lighter, it is stuck to the walls of the stove. The gas release clip is aligned with the center of the bolt. Also, the refill pin is aligned with the hole of the left plate. The copper tube has been coiled up to ensure additional length for the proper heat dissipation. The plastic tube from the lighter has been used to connect the lighter nozzle and the pipe. And this is all that is there to it. We need to tighten the bolt to release the gas and use another lighter to set it on flame. I have placed the container on the flame. The flame is visible to the naked eye, but the video lights are making it difficult to be captured on the camera. You can see it burning if I remove the container. So what do you think about this video, about this small little thing that I've made here, the miniature gas stove, and about this entire process of making this miniature gas stove? Do let me know in the comment section below. I will see you in my next video, and until then, bye-bye.